Hey, what is going on, YouTube? Ron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day here. And guys, we've got a fun one for you here in today's first look video. The Gouden Leeuw here is the Dutch legendary tier cruiser in the new port. And oh, she is a beauty here. But without further ado, let's go into the modifications, loadout, and all of that good stuff. And then we'll talk about the ship a little bit more in the gameplay footage that we have for you guys. Aiming systems, Mod 1, propulsion, concealment, and reload, of course, are our modifications. Looking at our loadout, the ship has HE shells, AP shells, as well as the Dutch airstrike feature, and we'll talk about that, like I said, a little bit later in this video. On top of that, you do have access to a decent sonar there. It gets 5 kilometers worth of ships and 3.5 acquisition of torpedoes there. You do get 2 of them, as well as 2 defensive AA fire consumables, and 3 heals there, which are moderate. They're not super heals, but they will keep you alive a little bit longer if you use them appropriately. Moving on over to these specs here, your survivability is 53,460 with a 19% torpedo damage reduction. Your attacked aircraft squadron size is 12 there with a max bomb damage of 68 to 32 and a 41% fire chance. Don't really worry about the max size there. You'll never get all of them on target, but we'll talk about that later. 3x3 283mm guns with a 16.6 range and a 22% fire chance with your HE there. The AP is average, and the guns are not the most accurate according to the Discord dweebs, but I've had some decent success with them. The AA defense there is 93, which is pretty good. The Dutch cruisers tend to have a little bit better AA there. Maneuverability is pretty average. You can put yourself in some decent kiting positions there with a 33.5 knot speed, 790 turning circle, and a 12.7 rudder. Our concealment with a camo concealment module and an inspiration for concealment are 9.8, so pretty good in that regard. You can get yourself nice and close to utilize those airstrikes against the enemies. Moving on over to the armor profile, and this thing is moderately tanky. You do have a bow which can be overmatched on the upper portion of it, but as you can see, that orange plate is a nice thick little icebreaker there that will protect you. So a 25mm bow, so if you're going against this ship, shoot it right in the nose and you can overmatch it. Your citadel is relatively protected, and there is your 40mm icebreaker, so when angled appropriately you can actually bounce Yamato shells. And there's a decent bit of casemate and a actually slight little turtle back there. Now, I do believe you can punch through that. I think I've citadeled a few or been citadeled a few times in this thing, so it's a good armor scheme, but your citadel does sit out of the water, and even with that sloped plate, if the enemy ship has enough penetration or is close enough, you will get yeeted there. And here, of course, is the overview, sure shot, big guns, and the airstrike mechanic, the Gouden Leeuw here. Now, unfortunately, she is only available in ship bundles, but again, that's just a topic for a different video. That's just the way wargaming is doing business. If you don't like it, don't play. Our commander here is Mr. Johan Fürstner. He is the new commander here with the Ministry of Navy. His unique skill there, fire damage caused by your cruiser's shells or bombs. So sort of tailor-made for the Dutch cruisers, which of course the line did release in early access this update. We also have Burn It Down XXL in the first slot there, Bird's Eye View, which increases your airstrike attack range and main battery range in the second slot. We do also have Risk Theory here in the third slot, which decreases your detectability after firing your main guns, as well as Iron Feathers in the fourth slot there, and of course the unique legendary skill of air support for the Dutch cruiser commanders. They're really only found on the 2 Dutch cruiser commanders there, so it just basically reduces your airstrike cooldown time. And the legendary perk will actually reduce it to 1 second if you are within range. I think it's 8.5, 9 kilometers that we have it of an enemy there. We also have Dufournet, as well as Makawa as our inspirations. But yeah, there is kind of the uniqueness there. Now, we have had great success from this cruiser here. So there you can see in 9 games last night, we had a pretty good little outing, and you guys are about to witness one of them, which is probably one of the better ones, if not the best one. But 42% main gun accuracy, like we talked about. It's not the most accurate ship. It's not Stalingrad worthy, but the ship hits, and it hits hard. The airstrikes certainly do a lot of damage if you can put yourself in the right position. It's tanky. You do lose a lot of versatility, but there's trade-offs for every ship in this game. I had a lot of fun with it, and like I said, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but let's go ahead and get right to the game. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, our first look video, and we actually have a special guest for this one, Mr. Meta Jerk himself, who is also in a Gouden Leeuw. I'm pretty sure that pronunciation is wrong, but my Dutch are going to tell me in the comments below. And before we actually get into my love for this ship and sort of the different traits and aspects of it and talk a little bit more about it, I wanted to mention strategy real quick because I often tell players, you guys hear me in almost all of my videos, to stay on the side you spawn on. And we do that in a certain regard. However, you notice that Meta is taking this left flank here. We are in the same ship. Now, if it was anyone other than Meta or a player who I didn't necessarily know, I would not have probably done what I did. However, I know Meta, he is a great player, highly intelligent, and he knows what he's doing. So we decided to take the inside track here, utilize our concealment, and basically set up a little cross drop. I wasn't communicating with him, and it's so great to get a player who knows what they're doing because throughout this game we actually we were one kill away from managing something that would have been almost iconic in my opinion, but we'll get to that towards the end of the video. But regardless here, because of the capabilities of this ship, I wanted to get near these islands because as you can see, we are almost within airdrop range already. Your airstrike range is 13.49 or 13.5 kilometers there. So if you can get in sort of, a close island position like this, then you can use them basically, without being detected. This is a perfect little island range here. As you can see with that shot on the Conqueror, we are undetected there. But our Smalland is actually doing the right thing here going into this center cap where he spawned. However, we really don't have a position to help him other than dropping our airstrikes, and hitting destroyers with airstrikes is not easy. However, we do manage to connect it well here. Just not quite enough to get the full elimination. We do manage 2 bombs, and with the Smalland using his guns as he should, we do manage to get the early elimination of that ship. And here was actually a little bit of a risky position. Thank goodness that Kurfürst decided to shoot the battleship behind me because I was a little broadside here. However, we move ahead ever so slightly and get ourselves in a great position there to get some HE on the broadside of that Kurfürst. And if you actually look, Meta just absolutely decimated that Kurfürst with his airstrike. And I was trying to sort of communicate to him that he was on a damage con. However, we're just going to keep the HE loaded. The AP is actually surprisingly good in this ship. I knew coming into this update that the ship wasn't supposed to have great guns, but that is not the impression I have got. 283 millimeter is a rather large caliber. I think it's actually just enough to cause your shells to only do 10% of damage to destroyers, the 283 rule in Legends. However, the HE is somewhat consistent, and I've gotten citadels on targets that I feel like would normally be overpens or just misses in some other ships. And now, of course, that could be simply confirmation bias and some coping from Aaron. However, the guns feel fine to me. So make sure that you're loading AP when you get some decent broadsides, especially on some light cruisers and ships. Even at closer ranges, I've seen absolutely decimate some Yamatos and Musashis. But if you can do what we're doing right here, getting your airstrikes on target, there was 6 bomb hits and a fire for about 10 or 11k, and keeping other targets burning, you can see the damage start to absolutely rack up. This is going to be a ship that a lot of the battleship mains are not going to like. If you like to camp in the back of the map, yeah, you are not going to enjoy this series of ship. It does require some aggressive positioning, so a map like this is perfect. If you get more of an open water map, you're going to have to angle appropriately as we kind of push out here to help our right side as they were sort of on the weaker side of this engagement, while also trying to support our battleships in the middle here and get another fire on that Conqueror. And yes, I have been on the receiving end of these airstrikes, and they are certainly not fun, but any sort of maneuvering, and you can dodge a good majority of them. So if you're just sailing in straight lines or you're stationary, you are not going to enjoy being on the receiving end of this ship. Now, that's not for me to say that this ship still might need some balancing. We're getting some initial data here, and it certainly feels very strong. However, when you are countered or when you cannot get these bomb drops and get those permanent fires, the ship is still, just average, merely average in my opinion. But here's a great example. If you actually look at the back end there, Meta is kiting away this Kurfürst, and in just a moment here, you will see some massive bomb strikes on him. So if you Play poorly and don't pay attention to positioning here as we actually get a decent bomb drop. That was only about 8k, but we have that permanent fire on the Conquer there. But if you play into the hands of this ship by chasing kites and not, paying attention to positioning, for example, if this Kurfürst would have turned back and got the alpha cap with his teammate, he simply puts Meta out of position, but because this Kurfürst is deciding to chase him, Meta is in perfect position to just kite safely away. You can see he has all of his health. We are now in position to crossfire the Kurfürst, and in just a moment here, you will actually see a massive drop, like I said, on that Kurfürst, eliminating a good 10 to, yep, there it is. Maybe not as big as I thought it was, but about 5 to 10k of his health there, and a fire. So if you play directly into the hands or the strengths of this ship, you will absolutely not be having a good time, as we already mentioned. However, there are plenty of balancing factors, as with most things in this game, with the exception of maybe aircraft carriers. Destroyers counter battleships, battleships counter cruisers, and cruisers typically counter destroyers. Now, of course, each of them in their own unique class has its own sort of wrinkle, and this is just another wrinkle to be added to Legends. But it is a ship that I thoroughly enjoy. Unfortunately, it is only available right now for random bundles. It will be available later, probably next year, same as the Louisiana, perceivably. So if you want it, you're going to have to whale, unfortunately. However, in that regard, the other ships of the line are in early access, so if you want a similar experience, go out and hopefully get those crates. I believe you can get a few of them in the campaign, and I believe there are certain few just free ones that you can sort of pick up along the way. I'm not 100% sure in that regard. But regardless, they will be out in full release next update, so if you want to wait and grind for them, you'll just have to wait till next update. But I'm going to leave this one to the live comms here. It was actually a fun little finish. I won't spoil it, but if you know Meta and sort of his niche, we almost complete a double sort of, well, I'll just let the game finish. But I love you guys. I will see you at the end there. A run out.
Is that gonna clear?
Kritiek beschadigd. Brandalarm. Luchtafweerbemanningen in opperste staat van paraatheid. Probleem opgelost, kapitein. Luchtafweerbemanningen in normale staat van paraatheid.
Oh, we got him. We got him! We got it! Oh, no way! He didn't take any damage?
Ik kan je niet helpen.
Yeah, right.
Brandalarm! Probleem opgelost, kapitein.
I mean, I'm fucked by the,
Brandalarm! Teamgenoot, ik heb je hulp nodig.
meta. Oh my god. Does. Oh, that was clutch. That was clutch. No!
Ons team heeft de leiding genomen.
How do I not have a high caliber yet?
And there we have it, guys. We were literally 1 kill away from the ultimate sort of double feature type of video there. Meta got 4, and I got the assist Kraken with the Confederate there. But a beautiful first place finish, a 32-19 with Meta coming in second. He had 4 kills. Again, we were so close. If you don't know, Meta typically does a lot of the Kraken videos. And he's very good at yoinking my kills, as you can see. No, I'm just kidding. But a fantastic game there and a great first look for our video. Let me know what you guys think. I love you guys. Have a great day. I'm out. Peace.
Just look at first place. Oh man. Oh no way, dude. Oh, that's dude. What was high caliber? I had 175. Oh, that's tragic.